The Autodesk Construction Cloud has a feature to lock files. Basically, by locking file, users can prevent other members from deleting, moving, renaming, editing custom attribute values, or overwriting the file. Every time you lock a file, you'll be able to see this lock icon at the right side of this one item's name. The same member that locked the file can unlock that from UI and also unlock other locked files in case this member has managed permissions. Okay, it works just like this. From ACC UI, you go over one item, select these three dots right here, and click on lock. Now let's cover what you can do with locked files from API perspective. Once a file is locked, if you try to upload a new version, you will receive a 403 error message. And there are ways for you to know when a file is locked and even unlock that file from API perspective. The first API that is useful to understand this event is Webhooks. Webhooks API basically sends notification for specific events under ACC, like folders being created, modified, or even versions being added into items. And Webhooks has two specific events regarding reservation of items, and in our case, or in our terminology that we are using, locking files. With this dm.lineage.reserved event, we can start getting notifications as soon as one specific user locks a file. And with this unreserved event, we can receive notifications as soon as someone unlock one specific item. Okay, this will let us know if our files are locked or not, and depending on your workflow, react to those events. You can also take advantage of Data Management API, and through Data Management API, every time you receive one item, meaning one file from one specific folder, together with all of the fields associated with that file, fields correlated to display name, created time, created by username, by user ID, last modified time, you have also the reserved field. And this field, reserved, it's going to let you know if that file is locked or not. If it is not locked, you only receive the false value for reserved field. If the file was locked, then you receive additional fields telling you if this file got reserved. In this case, will be true, and also you can retrieve the information about who reserved the file and when this user reserved that specific file. So to test this workflow through API, let's first of all create two events listening to lineage reserved and lineage unreserved, pointing to webhook.site, our unique URL, to receive the notifications. First of all, I'm going to create the webhook for a file getting locked. Let me add, I forgot to add here the token. Here, let me also add here the token. I have this automation already configured, should take care of that. So now let me create this webhook. Okay, this is the body we use, pointing to my lineage reserved event. And now let me create a notification to be received as soon as one file gets unreserved. So every time I lock a file right now, from now on, let me do this with this one right here, lock a file. I'm going to receive one notification in this page right here, because I created one webhook event for the lineage reserved event. And here is my payload. As you can see here, we have all of the information, all of the data associated with the reservation. I have here that the file got reserved, the username, in this case my user ID, my username, and so on. And since I created another one for the file getting unlocked or unreserved, as soon as I do this, go here, 3 dots, unlock my file, I'm going to receive another notification. And with that, I have the event, information, lineage unreserved, and now I have the reserved field equals to false. That's very useful for running workflows that rely on this kind of locked and unlocked files. But now let's cover, it's always good to know that this is also available through Data Management API. Through data management perspective, we can use endpoints, any endpoint that retrieves information about items. I'm going to use this get folder contents for this same folder. And as you can see, I have folder types here. I don't need the folders. I want to grab one item. Let me see one item. Yeah, this one. This is a PDF. Type this PDF right here. As you can see, reserved is equal false. The value for the reserved field is false. So let me change that to lock this file. And now, if I send this request once more for that same file, I can see that now the value for the field reserved is equals to true, and I have the time it got reserved, the user ID, and the username. Now let's use the API, Data Management API patch item, to modify the properties from one specific item. And with the properties, since reserved is one property, I can modify that to unlock this file through API. Let me do that. To do that, I need to specify the item ID. If I use this request right here, this is how it looks. I just need to mimic the structure of the response we obtained for an item. In this case, it will be attributes, and then inside attributes we have reserved. I'm having the same configuration here. Attributes reserved equals false, and now I need to pass my specific item ID as a value for the item ID field. Let me paste it here, and if I send this request, oh no, 400 pet requests, and there's an error message here. User context is missing. I'm using a two-legged authentication. So, and if you remember from the helper, from the documentation, it mentions that only the user that locked the file can unlock it. The only exception is for managers. Managers can also unlock any file. So as I need to pass one user context here, and this user needs permission to unlock that file. I can pass that either changing from a two-legged token to a three-legged token, or I can use the header X user ID. And with this X user ID, the API has user context. And with user context, I can unlock my item. As you can see here, this file, the field reserved is now equals to false. And if I go to ACC UI, I might need to just refresh this page. And in here, we don't see the lock icon anymore. Okay? Hope you find it helpful. And yeah, let us know.